Hear me when I tell you this: the world doesn't reward wishes, it rewards discipline. You can hope all day, you can pray all night, you can dream every second of your life, but if you lack discipline, all of that becomes nothing more than wasted potential. Discipline separates dreamers from achievers because discipline is the bridge that takes vision into manifestation. Many people sit with brilliant ideas, incredible talent, or powerful goals, yet they remain stuck at the level of talking, wishing, and imagining. They fail to realize that the world does not pay for potential, it pays for results. Potential without discipline is like a field full of seeds that are never planted. The seeds may hold life, but without planting, watering, and nurturing, they remain nothing more than wasted possibilities. Discipline is the act of putting those seeds in the ground, caring for them consistently, and making sure the harvest comes forth. Dreamers often get caught up in the emotional excitement of starting something new, but that excitement fades. The achiever, however, has built the muscle of discipline so strong that when excitement dies, commitment carries them through. This is the reason so many people begin diets, businesses, or projects, but never see them through to completion. They were inspired in the beginning, but they were not disciplined enough to finish. The achiever is different because they understand, but inspiration is the spark, but discipline is the fire that never goes out. Discipline creates structure where emotion creates instability. The dreamer may wait for the perfect moment, but the disciplined achiever acts in imperfect conditions because they know progress matters more than perfection. They show up regardless of weather, mood, or circumstance. By doing so, they separate themselves from the masses who are still waiting for someday, while achievers are busy creating today. The difference lies not in desire, but in dedication. Every person has the same 24 hours, but not everyone uses those hours with the same intensity. The dreamer fills their time with distractions, entertainment, and excuses. The achiever fills their time with habits, systems, and priorities. Discipline gives them the ability to say no to temporary pleasures in order to say yes to long-term fulfillment. The dreamer seeks comfort, but the achiever seeks growth, and discipline is the price they are willing to pay. The disciplined individual learns to master themselves, and in mastering themselves, they master their results. It is easy to point fingers at circumstances, environment, or lack of opportunity, but the disciplined achiever knows that results are never determined by outside forces as much as by inward focus. They take ownership of their time, their energy, and their actions, and in doing so, they command outcomes that others only wish for. Dreamers are full of what could be, but achievers are full of what already is. The difference is that discipline transforms ideas into reality. A dreamer may speak of goals year after year, but an achiever walks into the room with evidence of their work. This evidence doesn't come overnight. It comes from the relentless practice of showing up daily, consistently, and with excellence until results can no longer hide. Discipline is not glamorous. It is often repetitive, uncomfortable, and unseen. While the dreamer desires the spotlight, the achiever works in silence, building brick by brick, day after day. Then one day, the world looks up in amazement, thinking the achiever succeeded overnight, when in truth, it was years of unseen discipline that created the sudden rise. When challenges arise, the dreamer quits, but the achiever presses on. Discipline gives them endurance to outlast setbacks. Obstacles are not the end. They are simply tests to prove how serious one is about the goal. The dreamer sees an obstacle and turns back to safety, but the achiever sees the obstacle as an opportunity to grow stronger. This mindset is the fruit of discipline, for without discipline, The weight of difficulty would crush them. Discipline is what teaches a person to value time, to respect effort, and to focus on what truly matters. It transforms scattered energy into laser-like precision. Where the dreamer scatters seeds across the wind, hoping one might take root, the achiever plants with intention, waters with care, and watches a harvest come forth because discipline ensured it. Ultimately, discipline is the great divider. It is the line between talking and doing, between wishing and working, between dreaming and achieving. Every achiever you admire is not where they are because of luck alone, but because they paid the price of discipline. The dreamer waits for chance, the achiever creates certainty, and the only thing that emotions are unreliable, discipline is unshakable because emotions shift like the wind. One moment you feel inspired, the next moment you feel tired. One day you wake up with energy, the next day you wake up discouraged. If your life is directed by emotions, you will live in cycles of inconsistency, never building momentum long enough to see true results. Discipline, however, does not ask how you feel. It simply requires you to act according to your commitments, not your mood. That is why those who lean on emotion often stop when life gets hard, while those who rely on discipline continue moving forward. Feelings are temporary, but discipline creates permanence. You may not feel like waking up early, but when you are disciplined, you get up anyway. You may not feel like exercising, but when you are disciplined, you do it regardless. You may not feel like working on your goals, but discipline drives you beyond that momentary weakness. Discipline holds you accountable when emotions try to excuse you. It is the inner authority that keeps you aligned when everything in your body and mind says to quit. The problem with emotions is that they are reactive. They respond to circumstances, to weather, to people, to situations outside of your control. This means that if you let emotions lead you, your life will be tossed around by everything external. Discipline, on the other hand, is proactive. It is not swayed by what is happening around you. It is grounded in a decision made long before the moment arrives. A disciplined person doesn't ask, "Do I feel like doing this today?" They act because the decision was already made yesterday. Last week, last year, emotions are loud but short-lived. They shout at you in moments of passion, but they do not last long enough to carry you to the finish line. Discipline may be quiet, but it is steady. It doesn't demand attention, but it produces lasting results. The athlete who trains when nobody is watching, the student who studies long after others have gone out, the worker who perfects their craft behind closed doors. They are not moved by emotion, they are anchored by discipline. There are days when emotions will betray you. You will feel tired, unmotivated, or even hopeless. If you lean on those emotions, you will stop showing up for yourself. But if you are disciplined, you rise above those temporary feelings and still do what is required. Discipline trains you to honor your commitments even when your feelings protest. It keeps you on track when the road feels heavy. It is the guardrail that prevents you from swerving off course when emotions tempt you to quit. People often wait for motivation before taking action, but motivation is nothing more than an emotional spark. It can light a fire, but it will not keep it burning. Only discipline keeps the fire alive when motivation fades. Discipline teaches you to act without needing inspiration, and in doing so, you create your own momentum. You don't need to feel inspired every day to succeed. You only need to be disciplined enough to keep going. Discipline also protects you from the lies of comfort. Emotions often push you toward ease, toward what feels good in the moment. They tell you to sleep longer, to delay, to relax, to escape the discomfort of growth. Discipline, however, reminds you that comfort is temporary, but progress is permanent. It keeps you choosing the hard thing today so that life becomes easier tomorrow. It silences the emotional craving for instant gratification and trains you to embrace delayed gratification, which is the foundation of lasting success. The truth is that emotions cannot be trusted with your destiny. They can enhance the journey, but they cannot be the driver. Discipline must sit in the driver's seat if you want to reach your destination. When you build your life on discipline, emotions become passengers. They may come and go, but they no longer decide the direction. You decide the direction, and your consistent actions carry you there. This is why people who depend on how they feel rarely achieve greatness. They live in cycles of starting and stopping, of highs and lows, never moving in a straight line toward their goals. The disciplined individual, however, continues the journey even when the excitement fades. They understand that feelings are fleeting, but actions are lasting. Every step they take, whether in joy or in weariness, brings them closer to results. Discipline is the anchor that keeps you steady when the storms of emotion try to toss you around. It builds a foundation that cannot be shaken by moods, setbacks, or shifting circumstances. Without it, your progress will always be fragile, dependent on conditions you cannot control. With it, your progress becomes unstoppable because nothing, not even your own feelings, can stand in the way of your commitment. Consistency guarantees results because it transforms small, ordinary actions into extraordinary outcomes over time. Success is never the product of one grand effort or a single powerful moment. It is the accumulation of daily habits that compound quietly until they explode into visible results. A person who shows up day after day, even with small steps, will always outpace the one who moves in bursts of energy but cannot maintain it. Consistency doesn't need to be flashy, it only needs to be faithful. When you are consistent, you remove the guesswork from success. You no longer ask yourself if results will come because you already know that the process itself will guarantee them. Just as water, dripping steadily, can cut through stone, your consistent actions carve a path to breakthrough. Each repetition, each routine, each commitment builds strength in ways that cannot be seen immediately but reveal themselves over time. Consistency is powerful because it compounds. One workout may not change your body, but daily exercise over months creates transformation. One act of discipline may not build wealth, but repeated acts of wise financial decisions over years create financial freedom. One study session may not make you a master, but consistent learning shapes expertise. Consistency multiplies effort, stacking small wins on top of each other until the weight of progress is undeniable. The challenge most people face is not starting, but continuing. Excitement fades, life gets busy, distractions come, and many people stop before results can ever show up. Consistency demands patience, and patience is often the hardest part. But those who persist through the mundane, those who keep showing up even when nothing seems to be happening, are the ones who eventually see results that look impossible to others. Consistency is also a teacher. It trains your mind and body to follow through regardless of circumstances. Over time, consistent actions build discipline into your character. What was once difficult becomes automatic. What once felt forced becomes natural. By being consistent, you not only create results, but you also reshape your identity into someone who does not quit. This identity shift is more powerful than any single achievement because it guarantees future success in every area of life. Even nature testifies to the power of consistency. The sun rises every morning without fail. The seasons change at their appointed time. The tides move in and out with predictable rhythm. There is no chaos in nature's design, only patterns and repetition that create life. In the same way, a life built on consistency produces stability, growth, and abundance. It aligns you with the natural laws of success, ensuring that your actions eventually bear fruit. People often underestimate how close they are to results because consistency feels slow. But just like heating water, the change is happening beneath the surface, even when it isn't visible. At 211 degrees, water is hot, but at 212 degrees, it boils. That one extra degree makes the difference. But it only comes to those who stay consistent long enough to reach the boiling point. Those who quit at 211 degrees never see the breakthrough, even though they were only one step away. Consistency also builds trust, not only with others, but with yourself. When you consistently keep your word, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted. You create confidence by honoring your own commitments, and this confidence carries into every area of life. Others also learn to trust you because consistency makes you reliable. People may admire talent, but they depend on consistency. Inconsistency, on the other hand, creates frustration. It brings bursts of progress followed by long periods of stagnation. It teases results, but never sustains them. Consistency eliminates this cycle by ensuring that forward motion never stops. Even if the progress seems small, it is still progress, and over time, it adds up to something far greater than what inconsistency could ever produce. This is why consistency is the foundation of all achievement. Talent may open the door, but consistency keeps it open. Motivation may get you started, but consistency ensures you finish. Every great success story is really a story of consistency, of someone who refused to stop, who continued to take steps forward no matter how small, until results became unavoidable. Discipline outperforms talent and motivation because talent without consistency is wasted potential. There are countless people with natural gifts, extraordinary abilities, or brilliant ideas, yet they never rise to greatness because they lacked the discipline to sharpen and apply what they were given. Talent may give you an advantage in the beginning, but discipline guarantees you stay ahead in the long run. A person with less talent but unshakable discipline will always surpass the one who relies only on natural ability. Motivation is fleeting, often dependent on mood, circumstances, or environment. One day you feel inspired and driven, the next day you feel tired and distracted. If you rely on motivation, your progress will always be unstable. Discipline, however, is not dependent on feeling. It is anchored in commitment. It carries you through the days when motivation disappears. It ensures that you still show up when the excitement is gone. This is why those who lean on discipline build momentum, while those who rely on motivation fall into cycles of starting and stopping. Talent may open the first door, but discipline ensures you keep walking through doors long after talent alone would have run out. History is filled with examples of people who were not the most talented, but who became masters through consistent practice. They kept working, training, and improving when others with more natural ability gave up. Discipline made them excellent, while talent without discipline left others behind. Discipline also creates resilience, something talent cannot provide. Natural ability may carry you when things are easy, but when challenges come, talent alone is not enough. It is discipline that allows you to push through difficulty, to keep going in the face of obstacles, and to endure when the road is long. The one who depends on talent will crumble under pressure, but the one who depends on discipline will endure and eventually rise. Motivation may give you a burst of energy, but bursts are never enough to build something lasting. Greatness is not built in moments of excitement, it is built in years of steady labor. Discipline is what allows a person to build brick by brick, layer by layer, until something strong and unshakable is formed. Motivation is like a spark, but discipline is the fuel that keeps the fire burning through the cold nights. When talent meets discipline, it becomes unstoppable. But without discipline, even the most talented person becomes average. Discipline gives structure to talent, direction to passion, and power to potential. Without it, talent is scattered and wasted. With it, talent is refined and multiplied. The disciplined person does not waste what they have. They maximize it until it produces results that others cannot ignore. The truth is that talent is given, but discipline is chosen. You do not control the level of talent you were born with, but you control the level of discipline you live with. This means that discipline is the great equalizer. It gives ordinary people the ability to achieve extraordinary things, often surpassing those who had more talent but less consistency. Discipline allows you to build what talent alone cannot. People often envy the talented, but in reality, the disciplined are the ones to admire. The disciplined person may not shine at first, but over time, their steady work produces mastery. While others are distracted, they remain focused. While others are inconsistent, they remain committed. Eventually, their results speak louder than anyone's talent or anyone's motivation ever could. Discipline also creates habits, and habits create mastery. A talented person may perform well once in a while, but a disciplined person develops the habits that make excellence automatic. These habits compound, turning ordinary effort into extraordinary outcomes. This is why discipline consistently outlasts both talent and motivation. It creates a lifestyle of success instead of moments of achievement. At the end of the day, talent may impress people and motivation may inspire people, but discipline changes people. It transforms weakness into strength, potential into results, and dreams into reality. Discipline doesn't ask if you feel like it. It simply requires that you keep moving forward. And because of that, discipline will always outperform talent and motivation every single time. Your future depends on your discipline today, because every choice you make now plants the seeds for the life you will experience tomorrow. The actions you take in this moment are not isolated. They ripple forward into your destiny. Many people want a different future, but they are unwilling to change their present. They hope for success, wealth, health, or freedom, yet their daily habits contradict the future they desire. Discipline is the key that bridges the gap between what you want and what you will have, because the future does not respond to wishes. It responds to consistent preparation. Every small act of discipline compounds into something greater over time. When you decide to wake up early and focus on your goals, you are shaping your future self into someone who wins. When you discipline your spending, you are building a financial future that is secure. When you discipline your mind to focus on growth, you are preparing a future of wisdom and strength. Without discipline, you drift into a future by default. With discipline, you create a future by design. The difference between the life you want and the life you settle for is determined by what you are willing to do today. The truth is, you cannot separate your future from your present actions. If you do not practice discipline now, your future will be full of regret. But if you make the sacrifice of discipline today, your future will be full of rewards. Every decision is either adding to your future or subtracting from it. Skipping discipline may give you temporary comfort, but it also steals long-term fulfillment. The pain of discipline is always lighter than the weight of regret. Your future success, health, relationships, and opportunities are all tied to the decisions you are making right now. Discipline is the act of taking responsibility for tomorrow by taking control of today. If you are careless with your time, your future will reflect wasted opportunities. If you are careless with your energy, your future will reflect burnout and weakness. But if you are disciplined in how you invest your time and effort, your future will reflect abundance, strength, and success. Discipline also prepares you for opportunities that you cannot yet see. Many times, doors will open in the future that require you to already be ready. Without discipline, you may encounter opportunity, but lack the ability to walk through it. With discipline, you are prepared long before the opportunity arrives. Discipline positions you so that when your moment comes, you do not have to get ready. You are already ready. A disciplined life today ensures stability tomorrow. Life is uncertain, but discipline creates structure that protects you from being swept away by challenges. For example, if you are disciplined in saving money, future financial storms cannot break you. If you are disciplined in your health, future sickness will have less power over you. If you are disciplined in your relationships, future conflicts cannot easily destroy your connections. Discipline today is like building a strong foundation for the house you want to live in tomorrow. Many people want to change their lives, but are unwilling to change their daily actions. They desire freedom without paying the price of consistency. They want results without the discipline that produces them. But the law of life is clear: you cannot reap what you do not sow. If you sow discipline daily, you will reap success eventually. Your future is not built in a single day. It is built every day through disciplined choices. Even when the future seems far away, discipline reminds you that every step matters. A student studying today may not see results immediately, but in time, their discipline will create mastery. An entrepreneur making small, consistent efforts may not see wealth overnight, but their discipline will build a business that prospers. A person working on their health may not transform in a week, but discipline ensures they will transform in a year. The future rewards those who keep showing up today. The power of discipline is that it creates momentum. Once you build disciplined habits, they begin to work for you automatically. What once felt difficult becomes part of who you are, and that identity shapes your future. When discipline becomes your lifestyle, success becomes your destiny. You no longer have to fight for results. Your results are pulled toward you because your disciplined actions have already guaranteed them. Your future is a reflection of the patterns you live by now. If your patterns are scattered, lazy, and inconsistent, your future will mirror that. If your patterns are focused, disciplined, and intentional, your future will reflect greatness. Discipline today is an investment into the life you desire tomorrow. It is not easy, but it is worth it because everything you want is waiting on the other side of what you are willing to commit to right now. Decide and commit without negotiation, because the moment you leave room for excuses, you have already weakened your resolve. Every time you pause to question whether you should act or not, you open the door for hesitation, distraction, and delay. Discipline is not built on constant debate. It is built on decisions made once and carried out daily. When you decide and commit without negotiation, you free yourself from the exhausting cycle of starting and stopping. You no longer spend energy wondering if you should take action. You simply act. Negotiation with yourself is the silent killer of progress. It sounds like harmless reasoning, but in truth, it is the voice of procrastination dressed as logic. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Maybe I'll skip just this once. Maybe I'll start again next week. Those may feel like small decisions, but they accumulate into a life of missed opportunities. When you decide without negotiation